Alright, it is the start of day 3, and I'm just going to give kind of a brief update on the guide, and also kind of talk about what I've been doing, what my plan is for like farm strategy stuff for the next couple of days, and I guess I'll just go ahead and get right into it, but before I do, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Larold, blah blah blah. Alright, let's move on. So, I'll start with what I've done over the last day, I suppose, and I took down the first 2 Void Stones. I then progressed my way through my Atlas and got 100 plus maps, bonus objectives from maps. I found the bossing to be really easy. Eater and Exarch were very, very, very smooth and easy. I did Eater Deathless, never got close. I did Exarch, so close to Deathless. I only died because I believed in myself more than I should have. Ultimately, I found both of those fights to be incredibly easy. I actually found it much easier. I said this for a long time. I actually find that all the speed that I get from being a Pathfinder, having super Quicksilver and Silver Flask, actually made it harder to dodge ball phase, because you're moving so fast. I run into balls trying to dodge them, and that definitely was the case. I did eat like 1 ball on Eater, but it was much, much easier being slow to dodge. What a weird counterintuitive concept, but really it was very easy to do that fight, and the only reason I died is because I don't know, I just thought I could do like the last 25% of the boss's health in 1 second, and then the execute damage failed me. Other than that, I have been playing around with the League Start Atlas passive tree that I had talked about, and I'll pull that up now. I have slightly transitioned it out of any of the Kirak stuff since I've gotten my first 2 Void Stones, and I am 109, points deep, 100 Atlas objectives done. I've transitioned out of all the Kirak stuff. That is kind of the point that I would do that. I still have Betrayal on the board. I have some Scarab nodes now. Obviously, I still have Expedition. I've started speccing into Harbinger. I haven't done Blue Altar stuff all that well. I guess I have a little bit, but I haven't quite finished that out yet. This is sort of a blue side tree. I think my next move is to transition out of all of the Betrayal stuff once I do another couple Katarinas and invest probably into more like Map Mod Effect and Quant and all the usual stuff, the middle Quant wheel with the rarity, more investment into Harbinger as well, and then if there's room for it in the tree, try and do like a Harbinger Harvest Expedition type of setup. Maybe I drop the Harbinger and just do Harvest Expedition, or drop the Expedition and do Harbinger Harvest, but something involving Harvest and blue and right side of the tree, and that is kind of that. Then, as I talked about in the video I put out yesterday that I had made before the league, I have been doing sort of like yellow map, like tier 6, tier 7 maps. Race Course is back, and it's a tier 7 map. Really good for essence farming. I've been doing Essence Beast, and then I've made one little adjustment, one little wrinkle to that strategy from the way that I normally do it, and that is I have added in Rogue Exiles into that just as a little bit of extra juice, and I really like that because this build smashes in single target, which is not something I ever found with Toxic Rain. Toxic Rain, I love the speedy, zoomy smoothness, very, very like creamy peanut butter kind of feel, but doesn't have that crunch for blasting through big single targets, and this build absolutely does. It's really been shredding the Rogue Exiles pretty easily. I haven't really gotten much of value from them. One thing I maybe felt like I noticed was like I kind of got a lot of gold from them, but then I couldn't tell for sure. It's definitely something I've been exploring, and that's kind of been the other big thing that I've been spending a lot of time on, is figuring out the league mechanic, trying to kind of put together a bit of an in-depth look at the league mechanic, and that's probably, that is the next thing I'm going to be working on. And then the third tree that I just set up kind of last night and have only played around a little bit with is a red side tree, which I have to say, with this build being physical damage oriented and then being able to ignore all armor and physical damage reduction effects on enemies, it's been really nice doing red altars. I actually like them on this build. Never did as a chaos build. I haven't fully invested into this yet, obviously. And then I'm doing ritual. I don't know why. I think just because I'm doing everything else very weird, I thought, why not get really crazy with it and do some ritual? And I'm not feeling great about it. Probably should have done blight instead of ritual. If I'm being honest, probably a mistake to do ritual, but it is what it is. I'm playing around with it, just seeing can the changes to be ritual that they've made to ritual in this league, the new stuff they've added to it, can it be good? And the answer so far, is that I'm not sure. All right, now let's go ahead and jump into the changes I've made to the build. So quite a few. I have updated the POB, and I'll link that in the description. But I have leveled up to 92. I have made quite a lot of changes to the build. I'm using both Frenzy and Endurance charges all the time. As you can see, I have permanent Frenzy charge uptime. I've gotten some implicits on my gear, just some very basic ones. I got lucky with the Eater of Worlds implicit on the helm. I got the reduced life regeneration rate. That really is nice for doing Maven stuff. Reduced mana cost of attacks. I think I got that on the first Searing Exarch currency as well. That definitely helps. And then I have very just weird implicits on my gloves. I tried slapping Eater of Worlds ones on to just get something useful, and I kept getting like Fizz converted to different types of damage, which is just a straight damage loss because I'm using Brutality support. So I ultimately just settled on like, I got one that doesn't reduce my damage, and so I'll live with that, but I'm not doing anything with bleed. The extinguish enemies on hit with Searing Exarch, that's actually pretty good. It does make it so that if you're hitting often, and I am hitting pretty often, it does make it so that enemies have a tough time of inflicting ailments. It's not full ailment immunity on you. Obviously, it's not going to help with like ground pools and stuff. And for that, since I'm doing a lot of Red Altar stuff, I'm just using Soul of Aberrath. I have upgraded the Brine King, so I at least don't get like frozen and chilled and burned by burning ground. But this extinguish on hit does make it so it's like hard for enemies to shock you and stuff. And so that could be very useful on like a very low budget. And then for boots, I just, again, like Chaos Res as a Searing Exarch, I threw one thing on there and I went, okay, I need more Chaos Res, I'll take that. And then cooldown recovery rate of travel skills, I didn't really do much, but it's another thing that isn't harmful. And then the chest ones, I just got very lucky. I got Fizz taken as lightning, 10%, Eater of Worlds, that really helps a lot with like reducing Fizz damage taken. And then I got lucky with the Searing Exarch one. I think it was the first or second one I slapped on there. I got a Frenzy charge after 15 seconds. And so I was already kind of leaning into charges for a lot of my damage reduction. I have 6 endurance charges. So I said, okay, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to take the 100% increased charge duration mastery. Along with this node here, that gives me 22 seconds duration on endurance charges. And we have 2 ways to generate endurance charges. We have Enduring Cry, which because all of our war cries have a minimum of 10 power, we always get 2 endurance charges every time we Enduring Cry, every single time, regardless of what's around. And then we also get a decent chance to generate endurance charges on kill. And so because of that, I felt comfortable dropping Inexorable, getting endurance charges when hit. That's fine. I can handle Enduring Crying every 20 seconds or so, and often not even that regularly, because you're killing guys and you're going to be able to maintain endurance charges just off of that. So that's 6 times 4% damage reduction per endurance charge, so 24% reduced Fizz and LE damage taken all the time. That's really, really strong. And then the Frenzy charges, because of taking the 100% increased charge duration, Frenzy charges go from lasting 10 seconds to 20, and so this chest piece that would generate 1 every 15 seconds still does that. And so that means once you're 45 seconds into a map or a boss fight or whatever, you're at max Frenzy charges regardless of whatever else is going on. Now, I do obviously have Blood Rage in here just to help with Frenzy charge generation. So for mapping, we get up to 4 Frenzy charges. Easy, super easy, no problem. And, you know, we're just going to be permanently rocking full Frenzy charges. Now, I've done a lot to reduce any of the piano aspects of the build. So here's the extent of the keys that I hit. Earthshatter for damage. Leap Slam and Frostblade for mobility. And then Battle Mage's Cry and Enduring Cry as like my 2 little maintenance buffs. And War Banner very infrequently as a damage cooldown, and that's it. All you see here is all that I'm pressing, and even then, like, I'm not really pressing Enduring Cry all that often. The only real maintenance buff that I'm doing is Battle Mage's Cry, and then it's a 1-button build with 2 mobility skills. I've really simplified it down to be super, super simple and like easy to play. Now, I've made some changes to Warcry cooldown rate. I've come up here and taken this Deep Breaths wheel, given myself a ton of Warcry cooldown rate, and I've also gone and just bought some random Warcries that have, or I shouldn't say random, but some Warcries that have like random amounts of quality on them because it's so hard to get GCPs. Unfortunately, I think I have 2 that have 13 on them. Yeah, 13% rallying and intimidating, so I need to desync those a little bit. But this is actually working very well. If I just change all of my bars here over to different war cries, you can see they're kind of desyncing. And over the course of time, they desync more and more. Now, I would like to get, one of these up to 20, keep one at 15, maybe actually go get one that's at like 10 instead of having them quite all on top of each other, 16, 15, and 13. They're not quite spread as far as I wanted them to be. But as you can see, they are at least desyncing a little bit. And so because of that, because there is no cooldown, no internal cooldown on the rage that they generate, if I can find where that rage mastery is, it's over here. War cries generate 1 rage per 5 enemy power, and then we're guaranteeing 10 minimum power on all war cries. We're at permanent rage all the time. I could like go make a sandwich and come back, and I'm gonna be at full rage the whole time. Easy. So that's really, really strong. I really like that a lot. And then I have made some adjustments to mana. I dropped this wheel over here and unwavering stance, and then I have just crafted non-channeling skills have minus mana cost on them, and I've also taken the life mastery that makes it so your skills cost life instead of 15% of mana. And so my mana cost on Earthshatter is 3, very cheap, very easy to maintain. And as you can see, my shots are finally starting to get a little bit more desynced. Obviously, having the qualities on them all be a little bit more separated would make that a little bit more consistent, but ultimately I found this to be very, very smooth for mapping and for bossing. Really, really liking it. I have also added cast when damage taken to Molten Shell and Blood Rage. I wanted to do automation support for these, but the problem with automation support is it has an int requirement, and I'm just too stupid. It's also hard to like make it work socket color wise. And so I think the only other thing that I would maybe change, kind of goal to change, is right now I am self-casting Battle Mage's Cry, this one, and it lasts for 12 exerted attacks, and it applies punishment, and I have it synced up to Urgent Order, so it's very fast. Great. Once I'm able to get a 6-link chest piece, I'm going to swap Battle Mage's Cry with the punishment into that 6-link. The punishment won't do anything to affect the price of any of the other war cries. I'll still have 4 automated war cries. It would just be Battle Mages, Rallying, Infernal, and Intimidating would all be automated, and then Punishment would be linked in with them. And then I would actually self-cast Seismic Cry, and the reason for that is Seismic Cry lasts for 14 attacks instead of 12, so it just means a small reduction in the amount of maintenance. And then also, because the self-cast war cries do get the bonuses of the war cries instead of the automated ones which don't, I would actually get that more armor. I would actually get that more increased stun threshold per power. That's not a worthless buff. It's not great. I'm not maintaining 100% uptime on it. I'm not doubling the effect of it or anything, but like 10, 15%, 25% more armor while I'm running around, a third of the time, quarter of the time. That could be good. That might, just another little defensive layer on top of the fact that there's less maintenance, I think could be really good. And then Enduring Cry has just been nice for just, easy maintenance of endurance charges, little bit of life regen here and there, 10% life regen per second and bad. So I felt pretty great about all of that. I think the next step for me in terms of the build is to drop the Fortify mastery entirely, and instead of Fist of War support, which Fist of War support, bit contentious, I'll talk about that in a second, but drop this out and probably try and drop out something else, probably this upper branch here where I'm taking this life and this other endurance charge, and invest into cluster jewels, get more damage here. Maybe it would be this wheel with the physical mastery for 50% ignore enemy phys DR, and Bastion Breaker for the other 50%. Maybe try and get that through cluster jewels, and glove implicits also can give you ignore enemy phys DR. So maybe I would do a combination of that and then be able to drop this wheel, because it really didn't add anything other than that phys DR. Not a ton of damage, 60% increased attack phys damage for 4 points. That's not great. The ignoring DR being always 100% damage is amazing, but if you're able to get that elsewhere and then free up those points, I think that would be better. One other thing that I've done with the gear is I have enchanted this weapon with the League mechanic. I also did re-roll it with another Contempt essence. Nothing super special, but I crafted a higher fizz roll on it. I got lucky and got T1 attack speed on it, a perfect attack speed roll, and that's good. It's definitely good for getting around with Leap Slam. It does increase my attack speed so that my attack time is pretty fast. Let's get that socketed in. So I can attack several times per second, and this is where the Fist of War comes in. So Fist of War, unlike, say, Ruthless, where it's every 3 attacks you get more damage, so you have this big incentive to attack really fast, Fist of War is a cooldown. It's 1.8 seconds at level 20. And that means, if you're attacking slower than every 0.9 seconds, like a full second per attack, it's every other attack, it's this massive bonus. That's huge. But because I'm attacking every half second, this is every 4 attacks gets the Fist of War bonus. So for a straight single target for PoB DPS, it's really, really bad. Really bad. Now, I take a little bit of umbrage with this, the PoB DPS numbers, and this is kind of the same philosophy, same issue I have with like Simcraft and World of Warcraft, where I'm not arguing that it's inaccurate for like straight standstill single target training dummy damage. I do believe, of course it is. The thing is that, of course, when you're fighting a boss, you're going to be moving around, you're going to be dodging, and so sometimes you might not be able to attack, and that cooldown might reset in between attacks or every other attack. So there are going to be times where instead of this being every 4th attack, it might be every attack or every other attack. If I'm like, Blood Aqueducts is a terrible example, but fine, I'll move through. And like Fist of War, up for this attack, up for that attack, up for this attack. The point is that, it might be up for every other or every 3rd attack instead of just every 4th attack, depending on what you're doing. Now, there is another issue with Fist of War, and that is the more or increased AoE that it grants, and we can show that off here. Because I've switched over to using Earthshatter, you can look and see, like, these are all quite spread out. And then if I take Fist of War out, less spread out. I guess I don't have to take it out. You can see this. These are a bunch of regular spikes. Fist of War ones, they spread out further. They go out further. They're more spread out. This is the Toxic Rain conundrum. And ultimately, it does mean that it is, like, not really doing me any good, that increased area of effect. So it's basically a 25% more damage multiplier since it's only applying to every 4th attack. So, I think being able to just get Fortify on a support gem and then drop this whole Fortify wheel and pick up a cluster jewel, I think that'll ultimately wind up being the better approach. That's kind of the, plan for the next day, ultimately. Just in terms of thoughts on the build, I've been really, really pleased with it. This has definitely been the strongest, in the literal sense, League starter I've ever played. Not the fastest, not the most like convenient or smooth, but in terms of just blasting the end game bosses, the story bosses along the way, it's been really good. My next goal is to kind of get my weapon up, get a little bit more geared up to go take on Maven and Uber Elder and progress through the end game and really just like keep making a lot more currency, focusing more on the league mechanic as well. Just, the whole league, basically. Play the league. Ultimately, I've been really pleased with how this has come together. I thought it was going to be piano. I was worried that it would be piano. I was worried that it might not be that tanky, and neither of those has really wound up being true. I think it's pretty smooth, pretty well automated, and pretty tanky, and the damage is great. I've been really, really happy with the damage. I think that the permanent charge uptime tech of full frenzy charges and then very easy maintenance on the endurance charges has been really good, really treated me well, and I'm really happy with this build. Definitely going to take it all the way, and then as to what comes next in the league, who can say? Don't know. All right, hopefully this helps, especially if you've been like following along with the build, playing any sort of melee build. I think that this is definitely one that I would recommend. It gets the seal of approval. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.